First of all, Joe, how are you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. I'm a little bit un poco stanco perché we're on tour and we're a few days in now. And you know, tour means not so much food, not so much sleep, a lot of running around, quite a few drinks. So, but I'm good. You know,
That's fine.
I'm good. It's been a great start to the tour. The shows so far. It's only one show so far. Actually, I don't know why I'm complaining just yet.
Yeah, you've played in Turin yesterday.
In Turin yesterday, and
how was it?
it was fantastic. The venue was fantastic. Do you know the venue?
Yeah.
Magazzino sul Po.
Yeah. That's
It was fantastic. Great venue, great sound. The audience, it was full. I think there was maybe 120 people there, which is nice for a first show of a tour in another country. Yeah, the energy was great.
That's good. That's good. So you've decided to come to northern Italy for this tour because your last single came out 2 weeks ago, and you decided to come to Italy. Why?
Well, Italy is a funny place for me. Coincidentally, my band are Italian, but that is coincidence. I met both Veronica and Jamie in London, in the UK. But also a few years ago, and by a few years ago I mean about 10 years ago, I used to play in a rock band, and we used to tour here quite often, especially around Torino and Piemonte, with a company called, our booking agency was a company called Villa Baladin, based near Cuneo and Piozzo. And I don't know how that happened. I think back then we recorded an album. My band was called Peyote. We recorded an album. I was in university at the time, and we had some managers, and they had a producer come in and work with us on the album. And he was Corsican, and he was quite well known. His name was Henry Padovani. He was on, he was on the French X Factor as a judge kind of thing. He used to be in the police, so they in Corsica is a big deal in France. So he was on tour, and he was posting about us on his social media because he was working with us, and so all of a sudden it piqued this interest in Europe over our band. So we recorded this album, and suddenly we were touring all the time in Italy, and we played on French TV as well. But Italy we played a lot, especially around here. And the last show that we played, the last tour that we did here, before we parted ways, we played a show at Cinema Vecchio in Alba, which we're also actually going to be playing on Sabato. And at that show we played with a band called The Automatic, who we became friends with. And some of those guys from The Automatic, they all are based in Nizza Monferrato, and they organise a festival now called Fans Out. And I've stayed in touch with them. So sometimes they visit London, sometimes I visit Italy, and we're friends. And I started this project, just called Joe Little, solo without a band in 2019. Then coronavirus happened, and then in 2022 I started to release music properly, and I formed a band. And so with this project, I spoke to my friends and I said, "Yo, we'd like some shows." So here we are. Yeah. And it's timed quite well, like you said, with the release of the single "Notice Me."
Yeah. So we're gonna listen to and then talk a little bit about it, because I have questions. Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna listen to your last single, "Notice Me" by Joe Little. Okay, I usually keep the song going until the very end, because I like the sounds. I like the feedbacks. I love it. So I love it.
Thank you.
Okay, so we listen to "Notice Me" by Joe Little, which is you. And I have questions about the song, because you started a Kickstarter to record it.
I did.
Why, first of all? And then you said that this song that you did by a Kickstarter actually belongs to you and to the people who joined the Kickstarter, the people who made it possible. So talk about it, a little bit about this.
To be to the point, I suppose the reason I made a Kickstarter, the reason I set up a Kickstarter is because recording music's expensive. you know, and it's easy to, you know, there are so many processes when you write a song that it needs to go through. You need to write the song, you need to produce the song, you need to engineer the song, mix the song, which is a very technical job.
Yeah.
That takes some experience. If you wanted to, that's the thing that takes it to, I mean, the songwriting and the production take it to a high level, but without the engineering side being good as well, it won't be able to sonically kind of fit in with other songs that are high budget, that are kind of on the radio and things. So you wouldn't be able to take people's attention. So the reason I set up a Kickstarter was to raise the money just to mix this EP, this second EP. Because the EP is going to have 5 songs on it.
Yeah.
2 of them have already been released. Ordinary was released in, which is also, I think, Next Up was released
in November.
in November. And that was actually, I recorded that and produced that a few years ago. So that's the only one that's not new.
Okay.
But I'm just releasing it now. The rest of the songs, the other 4, I have co-produced with Veronica, who sat over there. And written them myself, but with the mix, with the engineer, I needed to pay somebody to do that. I don't have the expertise, I don't have the experience to give to them what they deserve, what they need, what's required. After all the other hard work that's gone into it, so I set up the Kickstarter to raise the money so that we could do that. And you know, it's like I've said to everyone who contributed via the Kickstarter, of course these songs wouldn't exist without them, you know. So whereas I've been a part of these songs in writing it and producing it and kind of managing the creative aspect of it, they've been a part of making it happen, you know. So together we all share that. So you know, it's like, even though setting up the Kickstarter was a functional thing that needed to happen for the logistics of the situation, it's actually quite a special thing in a way as well. It means that you do it together, with your fans.
It's a bit wholesome.
Yeah, it's quite wholesome, and it's like, especially when you're a solo artist.
Yeah.
And of course, I have my band. I work with Veronica and Jamie when we do things live, but creatively, when you're doing things on your own, largely on your own, sometimes it can feel a bit lonely, you know, and which is why people like to collaborate and. You know, so after setting up this Kickstarter, I started to think, actually, this is a really nice thing. You know, I mean, I am asking them for money, but so a lot of them seem like they're really happy to help and to be a part of it.
Okay.
So it felt like an experience that we all shared together. We did this together.
And you're independent. I mean, you're unsigned, and you keep doing things like with your friends at the most.
Exactly. I mean, I'm unsigned. I have no manager. I have no team. I rely on friends to help me with artwork, to help me with photos, everything, songwriting, production, posters, organising things. It's all done by us. You know, at the last minute, I asked Veronica to help tour manage this tour here. It's all, you know, very kind of just organic and authentic, which is nice, as well as chaotic.
Yeah, I mean, I can guess. It can be a bit lonely, you said. Is there ever moments when you regret it and you're like, no, I want to get a manager, I can't do this anymore, I want someone to do this for me instead of thinking?
I would love to have a manager. Yeah, like straight up right now. If the manager was good and if it offered me good situations and an advancement, but yeah, I just have to find that person. Because at the moment I'm doing quite a good job on my own. Yeah, I think you know, I used to play in a rock band, as I said, and I did really enjoy that. But the problem with that is that it can be a bit unstable, you know, and especially once we moved to London and we didn't have enough money, so we all started having to work, and we were living in different places, and we broke up. Then when I tried to start new bands, everyone has their own lives. Yeah. People leave, they move to a new place, do a new career, so it's very unstable. So I decided to do it solo just because it means that whatever happens in my life, if I was to just move to the other side of the world tomorrow, I could keep doing this.
Yeah.
You know, I could find new people around me and I could just keep going. So it's kind of, you have to kind of weigh up the pros and cons of each situation and decide what you want. And I think most bands, they happen when there's a perfect alignment of time, where there's a few people who they they coexist and they're stable and they have a good chemistry and there isn't going to be anything that's going to shake everything up. And you need that, I think, to have a successful band.
Yeah. About the song, like, not a later thing, you said it's like your first guitar song, okay, and it's a bit heavy on guitar, you got drums instead of like other things that sound a little bit more acoustic, okay, if you pass me the term, but it's still like sort of dreamy and romantic like every other song you did.
Yeah.
So how did you mix these two things?
Well, honestly, the reason I started making the songs acoustically is because they're cheaper to produce. And again, like as an independent artist, it's always you have to kind of do what you can in order to make the song exist.
Yeah.
So it's because they were cheaper to produce. And now that time has moved on, I've advanced myself as a producer. I have a better team around me, so there is more opportunity now to make sounds that I wanted to before. I've always wanted to be in a situation whereby my sound doesn't depend on a specific kind of setup of instruments. I want to be able to use synths, pianos, acoustic guitars, electric guitars, brass instruments, anything.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be able to do that. So one of the reasons as well that I started to do things acoustically was because I felt if I could find a sound by using no instruments, then that means that then I can go forwards and I can build instruments around that sound.
Yeah.
So for me, I discovered that what I tend to do naturally is I write songs, you're right, they're kind of happy, sad, there's like a nostalgia, there's like a happy beauty in the sadness, or that kind of thing. I feel like that grounding is what links all of my songs together, despite the instrumentation or the production of them. Yeah.
I gotta say, I really like where it's going. So yeah, keep at it. Okay.
That's me then.
And now we're gonna listen to Ordinary, which we said just came out in November, and it's the first, and now it's like one of the 2 songs that's out of the upcoming EP. And we're gonna listen to it, and then again we're gonna talk about it later. But first, I just want to say the music video for Ordinary is amazing, and of course it's won an award for it. So go and watch it when you can. Ordinary by Joe Little. And that was Ordinary by Joe Little. We're on Music Central Time on Radio Statale, and Joe Little is with us talking about his music. And we just listened to Ordinary. Okay. Sorry, my pen came down on me. Okay. Okay. So this song we just listened to, I really love the lyrics. Okay. And the music video really does make you like experience that. It's sort of about loneliness, and it's quiet in its own way, but it's also like really loud, like you can feel it, okay? It's a bit of anxiety, a bit of desperation, but it's still acoustic, and I really enjoy that. And I wanted to ask you, is that what you meant for it to mean?
Yeah.
Is it like, it's really loud. It makes me like cry a little bit. Really? Okay. And the music video is amazing.
Yeah.
And you work with a friend for that too. Yeah.
I think for me, Ordinary is a really important song, and the reason is that when there was a period of time in my life where I stopped making music because I fell out of love with it. I'd put too much pressure on myself and all these kinds of things, and I stopped. I decided I was not made for it, you know, all the kind of ambitions that I'd had hadn't worked out, and things hadn't happened as I'd planned them to. So I was maybe a bit too harsh on myself, and I stopped. And then years went by, and I remember then this thing happened in my life, and I felt quite, you know, it was a big deal for me, and I felt compelled to kind of write this song. And I just picked up my guitar and I wrote it, and it took 5 minutes. And it's important because for me it was a situation whereby I was writing a song just because I wanted to, and because I needed to, and because I had to. you know, and it's not like now, for example, that I've launched as an artist, I constantly have to be thinking about the campaign, I have to think about what EP is next, it's a different thing entirely. Whereas that was a really honest and organic kind of experience. And even when I went in to produce it in the studio, you know, it's like, excuse me.
Okay.
It's like I didn't even know if I was going to release it at any point. You know, it's like it was just kind of, I just needed to do this. The music is, I feel like, in a variety of ways, with the song, the stars aligned. You know, I think sometimes when you're working on a project, you're unlucky and certain things come up, or you misunderstand something if you're working with somebody, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong in the communication respect. And with that song, I spoke to an old friend of mine, who I've known, our parents went to university together, so I've known him forever, but we hadn't been in touch for a long time. I was living in London and he'd just moved to London. And he was working in film, but as an editor, and he wanted to do some directing. And I said to him, do you want to do something together? We'd never worked on anything together before. And he was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And he was like, what's the budget? And I said, nothing. So we made it so easy. We literally set up a red light in my bedroom, and we recorded some footage, and we printed off, once we edited it together, we printed off every single frame of the video, so it was something like 3,000, maybe 5,000 frames, and we drew with pens on each one of them, and then redigitized that to create this kind of this effect. But aside from that process, the mood that came from that video, it works so perfectly with the song. It's like this kind of, it's this quiet environment but internal loudness that you're referring to. You know, and it's kind of, the reason I've only released it now, even though I made it like some time ago, is because I just felt like I can't release this first and for no one to be able to hear it. Because, you know, if I start with my first song, who hears my music apart from friends and family and people around me? So I thought, I'm going to start with these other songs, build up a fan base, build up a community, build up some kind of profile on the internet, and then release Ordinary so that some people can hear it. Yeah. So that's the reason for the delay. But yeah.
It needed to be heard.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's amazing that it's just like you needed to express your feelings and you did it so perfectly. And did it really take 5 minutes to write?
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Okay.
It was a traumatic experience, to be honest. I was feeling very intense that evening. You know, I was really kind of in a place. And I picked up the song and it came out, and I remember thinking, that's amazing. Like, that's a good thing from tonight. Yeah.
And it's gonna be part of the upcoming EP, with Notice Me. Can you tell us anything about the other songs on the EP? I'm very curious.
I'm performing them live on this tour. One, I think I'm going to... Notice Me's obviously just come out. There's going to be another single, and then the EP is going to come out. I think, if anything, I can say anything. They are... This EP is important to me because it's the first time that I'm producing music in a way that I feel is me. Before, the first EP that I worked on, I kind of worked with a variety of producers to just finish songs, but not to create an environment, not to create a unique atmosphere that was me. You know, it's like, I think a lot of people, when they start writing songs, especially if they're not in a band, so you don't write songs in the studio together and write all your parts and things. If you're just a songwriter and then you need to produce it, then a lot of the time the production aspect of things feels a little bit alien. Or also, I feel like it's one of those things that can be a bit gate-kept. Like, producers don't want songwriters to realise that they can produce their own songs because it means that they get... I'm not sure I should be saying this stuff on the radio. But it's one of the... But I think I would say to songwriters that you can produce your own music, and I think that you have to in order to create something that's truly unique and that's truly you. Because you can write a song, and if it's produced by somebody that doesn't feel what you feel, then it just sounds like everything else.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that whenever there's been a musician that's changed the world, let's say, they're people that had a sound that was uniquely them. It's their personality that shines through in their songwriting and in their production. Like you look at like Prince or, I don't know, Frank Ocean or people like that. Everything they do is just so them. And it's not like they've not got just their song and then some producer that's done something. You can hear when a song is like that. So for me, this EP that's going to be coming out is the first step towards that for me. So it's an important step.
So building a community and your sound that is uniquely yours and it's going to be recognizable. Yeah, that's really, really amazing. Okay, and you're singing them live in this tour. I'm gonna read the dates again so people can come. You played last night in Turin, we said, and tonight you're gonna play in Milan at Alibi with Veronica, which is here, and then tomorrow night you're gonna play at Cinema Vecchio in Alba, and on Monday, the 11th of March, you're gonna play at Osteria del Fico in Cremona.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So go and listen.
See you there.
Yeah, absolutely. I recommend it, and I'd love to hear the new music before you put it out. So yeah, absolutely. And now we're taking a little step back. Okay, we're going to listen to a few songs from your previous EP. The first one. Okay, I let you choose like 2 songs. Okay, for this program, for this radio show. The last one I chose it myself. It's my favorite. I'm sorry. So why did you choose Stars from the previous EP?
I chose Stars because a lot of people have connected with it, and I mean that's it really. It's a song that I released. I wasn't sure if it was good or not, and I put it out there. I worked with it with a good friend of mine CJ Pandit. He's an artist as well, and actually I did Stars and Pleasure in the same studio, but with 2 different producers who are friends of mine, and I think actually they did a very good job on these. These are 2 of my favourites from that EP. Stars, it's just because it connected with people. I've released it and people have loved it, and it's the one that's done the best on like TikTok. It's like a lot of people have made videos using it as a sound, and I've gained a lot of new fans because of that song. And I wasn't sure, I didn't expect that to be the case. So that's why I've chosen that song.
Okay, so we're gonna listen to it now. This is Stars by Joe Little. So this was Stars by Joe Little, and all of your songs are romantic, but I feel like this one feels really honest in that sense. Like it's really like honest romance put there.
I mean that's what I was aiming to do at that time. Is I was trying to create something that felt very. I was trying to write from a perspective where it was like intimate and warm, but also without being too frilly with language, being real with language, using the kind of words and saying the kind of things that you would say in real life. I didn't want to be overly poetic, which when people...
Although, stars in your eyes...
See, I know.
It's really poetic like
yes,
that.
See, maybe that's just the way I... I'm just a I can't help it. Yeah. I think it's funny, actually, because the stars thing has become like a bit of a kind of a symbol for me.
Yeah.
Especially in imagery. Like I think there's probably a few stars that show up in the ordinary video. Like it's a recurring image, and I think it's because it's that sense of like looking up at the sky and kind of thinking, and it's that kind of internal loudness in that kind of external quietness.
So if people go like looking at the stars at night, they should listen to you.
It's the best time, honestly.
Absolutely.
Like we don't really do it in the UK because it's super dangerous. So I don't know if you do it here in Italy, but in the US people sit on their roofs, don't they, in their houses? What? They do. In the US people sit on their roofs all the time and they like kind of watch the stars.
We do it like in the hills in Italy.
Do you?
Yeah.
Like
especially in the summer, we go like to the hills with friends, and we go like do little barbecue,
that sounds so
beers,
nice.
and we look at the stars.
That sounds yeah. So I'd say that is the perfect time, or maybe on a train or something like that. Any time is good.
Yeah.
But I would say that's the perfect time.
Yeah, listening to your music on a train feels like very main character in a movie. Is like looking outside of the windows and just dreamy. It's really cool. You talk a little bit of Italian.
Not very much, un poco. I'm trying. I'm using Duolingo.
Yeah, I've seen on your Insta.
And I'm practicing with my band, and every chance that I get. Sometimes I come here and I forget everything and I'm just not keeping up. But today, this week, I feel like I'm ready to speak Italian. I'm good for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah. What are your favorites, like phrases or words in Italian?
I can't say any swear words. Non posso mangiare il glutine.
Oh, okay. That's useful.
That's useful. I don't know if it's my favourite. Just for everyone listening, someone just told me to say that. It's not what defines me. I don't know. I think che bella, che buono. That's my favourite. Che buono. I say that the most when I'm here.
Food. I mean,
it's
good.
That's what I mean.
It's good. And you're going to Alba, which has like tartufi, which is really, really good. So please do enjoy that.
What is tartufi?
What is tartufi? I don't know how to explain it.
Truffles.
Oh, truffle.
Yeah, truffles. Yeah,
Mi
and
piace.
they come from there, so
yeah, really.
Eat those.
I've played at Cinema Vecchio before. That's the only venue on this tour that I've played at before. I played there, like I said earlier, didn't I? Probably about 8 years ago now. Crazy. Alba's beautiful. I think I played a festival near there called Collisioni.
Yeah,
as well.
I know that.
Collisioni?
Yeah.
On a stage with Piero Pelù.
Yeah.
As well. And it was great because we were backstage and one of the local winemakers, they came to Piero Pelù and they said, we love your music, please accept this gift, this beautiful old bottle of Barolo wine. It was like a 1.5 litre bottle. And Piero Pelù was like, thanks. Left it in a tent and left it behind. He left and didn't take the wine. So we were like, we'll take that, thank you very much.
Did you take it?
We did. And there was no hotel nearby because it's quite a small place. So all the artists and the bands, they were staying in a local nunnery nearby where all the nuns do, like a convent.
Yeah.
So we were in this convent hanging out the window smoking cigarettes and drinking this beautiful wine. Oh my goodness, it was a really memorable experience. As you can tell, I remember it, every detail.
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I do recommend it. Like, the food and the wine is perfect.
That's
in
top
Piemonte,
tier.
it's fantastic.
It's like heaven on earth, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's a place where you can go and see the stars.
It is.
It's between the hills.
There's a lot of places in Italy. Italy is very good for listening to my music.
Absolutely. So yeah, we recommend this music to every Italian listener. Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to the end of this interview. So I'm asking if there's something that you want to tell people, like something that you need to put out there and you want people to know about yourself and about your music.
I just want to first of all say thank you to everyone that I've worked with, both on the last EP and on this one that's coming up. It's the people that have helped with the Kickstarter. It's the people that I'm with here today. It's producers who've worked with me for free. It's my friend who's made videos and he's made artworks for me. I've been lucky enough to be surrounded by an incredibly creative community who have also been incredibly supportive of me and what I do. So I think that's the most important thing. Secondly, what I want to say is that I hope that you can listen to my music and connect with it, and if you do, then share it. But most importantly, just enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really enjoyable, so so do it. And okay, so thank you for being here, for coming. Thank you for coming to play in Italy, because we don't get
Anytime.
a lot of a lot of international artists, like not little international artists in Milan especially. We get like big venues and stuff, but not a lot of indie artists like you, like not really the underground scene, you know. We have a lot of Italian underground scene, but not really much of the international underground scene. And I thank you for that, because my radio show is about international music, so I love it, and please do come more. And that's it. We're going to say bye, but first we're gonna leave you with the song I chose, which is Pleasure. I really enjoy it. I took some notes about it.
Really?
Yeah, because I really like the sounds. Like, is it a synth? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it. I have like this love-hate relationship with synth and autotune. Okay, because I feel like it's a really good tool that artists can use to make incredible things. But if you do it like just that bit too much, it's terrible.
You can use it as a artistic tool.
Yeah.
You know, but some people, it's the only tool they have, and they just use it to death.
Yeah.
This song, Pleasure, it's a hidden gem actually. There's a few people who say this is their favourite one, and it's interesting. You know, the streaming numbers aren't particularly high. Like, it's like a hidden treasure, I think, for some people. There's some people that listen to it like all the time. It's their favourite. This song I worked with a producer called Brogan. He was a good friend of mine. He's an ambient artist.
Yeah.
He's very good, from my hometown.
And also I really connected with the lyrics, because I don't know exactly what the situation it is that you meant to express, but I related to that thing, you know, that starts with a sort of friends with benefits sort of situation, that you fell in love with the other person. And it's like, okay, so a relationship is based on pleasure, but I want to give you so much more than this.
Exactly.
And I really related to that, because like my relationship that I'm in started like that. And I loved it. It's like something special when you connect with someone that at first you didn't think you would connect with. You're like, okay, we're gonna be friends, and that's too. And then I don't know, discover a person with intimacy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. You know, especially if you're, I mean, for people out there who don't tend to settle down quickly or often, you know, then they get used to certain patterns of like not so much depth. And then from one of those situations where sometimes you don't expect a lot to happen, then everything can happen, and you're kind of like, what's happening here? Yeah, you understand it completely.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, I understand it. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to listen to Pleasure by Giulietta, and then we're going to say goodbye.
Scusa? Sì, tu hai stressante.
And this was Pleasure by Giulietta. So we've come to the conclusion of this interview. I loved it personally, so thank you very much. We were talking a bit of, you know, Italian and words and grammar before. So thank you for having me, and I thank you for coming really, very much. And that's it.
No, grazie tu. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
To you and everyone else in the studio as well who's been part of the programme, and to Veronica and Jamie behind me for sticking with me on this tour, for sleeping in the same bed as all together. Not Jamie's on a separate bed. So you understand. And anyone listening, I'll see you in Milano, Alba and Cremona. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Tonight at Alibi, go and listen to some live music, because, you know, artists need it, and it's fun, and it's gorgeous, so do it. And thank you very, very much. And we've been Music Central Time, and I don't know, we're gonna be listening to some music next week again, but on Thursday, you know, usual time for Music Central Time. So that's all for today, and bye. Say bye.
Bye, ciao.
Perfetto.